Susan Lenart here. I am an artist and jeweler, inventor, and a creativity instructor. So I'm thinking that you're here on my channel because you are as well. So one thing that I want to say is I'm really here for a support system for artists. Why? Because being an artist is tough sometimes, you know? It's like we are the heartbeat of the world, I say. You know, we're the people, a lot of us are empaths. We go in and we absorb our environment around us and we bring it into ourselves and create our work and let this come out this way. We have to be able to filter through and let go of things that we don't need and keep things that we do need, and hold our strength, hold our creativity, hold our passion, and hold our love. So how do we do this whole process? And that's what I'm all about here. I am here as a student and a teacher my whole life, moving forward in ways to stay in my creativity, stay in this when you're in this higher thinking, in creativity heals, groups heal. So, you know, when you're staying in this higher state of frame of mind, you have freedom into your creativity and you can invent whatever you want to invent. Like, life is easy. And I'm all about simplicity, and hopefully you are too as the artist. This is about healing, the healing process of being the artist and creator. So, you know, some of the most important things to start with, I have five different important factors to move forward to help you grow as an artist and help you be strong. And the first one is that when you start your artwork and you're here in your studio and you're doing your work and no one's looking at your work, and no one is paying attention to it, and your work really isn't anything yet. When you first get started, it's so important just to go in a straight line and continue with your work. You know, it really is true. It's like every single person starts this way. Every single artist starts this way, whether you're a painter, a jeweler, you know, you're a student, you're in your studio, you're looking around, you're seeing people's work take off. Maybe people who you felt were behind you, their work is taking off. You will get there if you still keep going in the same direction continually. So, you know, absolutely 100%, I promise you. Of course it's so hard at the beginning. Of course you're gonna find times where you're discouraged because, you know, you're doing all this work. There's a business factor, I can't even remember the name of it, but it really is about, you know, putting in like a whole year worth of work that you're churning and you're working for, and you're getting your voice out there and you're getting your work and you're building bodies of work. All of this energy that you're putting into your work will be of value and will help you grow and sell your work, you know, soon. It just doesn't happen at the beginning. 90% of businesses and artists quit or don't give themselves enough credit. You know, they quit because they're like, I've been working so hard, I can't sell my jewelry. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that as a coach and as a teacher for years and years. So I have taught workshops around the world, and on creativity and on silversmithing and on mixed media and art in general. I've been in art and adornment my whole life. And that's one of the factors that I continually hear from people. They come in, they get into this creative flow, and then they go home and they sit by themselves, and it's hard to stay in the creative flow. I created this channel for artists, for creators, for even business creators. Creativity is just a way of life. And I created this channel to hopefully inspire you to keep going as an artist and stay in your art form and find ways to get into your passion, your love, and move up into this higher state. So the first thing I want to say is artists are so valuable. We're the heartbeat of the world. We create the world. We're the creators, right? So you're important. Your job as an artist is so important and so valuable. And, you know, one of the reasons that I want to say right off the bat is I know we've all heard it. People are like, when are you going to get a real job? Really, you can't make money with art. I'm here to tell you that you absolutely can make as much money as you want to in your art form. I have made millions and millions and millions of, generated millions and millions of dollars. I mean, of course, it's like for me, I'm here to talk about my failures as much as I'm here to talk about my successes. So I'm not here to brag to you about things that I've done. I'm here because I am on, 6 years ago, I sold my company and I was burnt out and exhausted. And I have been, for the past 6 years, really looking into like, what got me into my passion? What got me into my spirit? How did I thrive as an artist? How did I fail as an artist? How did I, creating a business is just as much as an art form as well as your art. So even if you're starting with your business and your art form as a creator, keep going. If you quit, you fail. If you keep going, you are going to get there. Maybe it's a lot of ups and downs, but I promise you, you'll get there. So that's factor number one. You will get there if you keep going. Factor number two is, oh my gosh, it's like, I talked a little bit about it in the first subject. It's like, I've been spending 6 years behind the scenes really developing how I got into my creativity, how I stay in my creativity, different methods. I have different courses on learning how to be a silversmith. I have different, but I'm just really building courses and I'm building my statements and I'm building my philosophies and theories as I talk to you here. What's taking off for me now is still my silversmithing, There's time in between. I am on my way. I've studied so much in energy. I've studied so much in being a creative coach like creative businesses as well. When I say into your as a creator and an artist, a jeweler, whoever you are, this is a lifestyle. Being an artist is a lifestyle. I build my business the same way that I build my jewelry or my adornment or I've hopped different markets. I've been into build handbag lines. I've built leather. I've built, I love an artist because when I get an artist, you can move, you have the creativity and you can move into any subject matter that you want to, including business. Building your business as personal as building your own body of work. And that's what I love to say, especially recently. So we're doing all this work behind the scenes, of years worth of, maybe if you're in your studio and you're putting in painting, and I'm in there building my jewelry and, we're back there building a body of work and we're figuring out how to get our work out there. There's all of this time and energy and love. If you can continually stay in this creative space and not start like, getting mad at people and getting angry, because then life is about this energy. Being an artist is about energy work as much as it is about technique. Being a business owner is about energy work. So it's so interesting. So in my study of energy over the past decade, I'm bringing this really verbally into my art form, and I want to teach this to you as well, because it's the only way to success is understanding all of this invisible. And we know it. We just don't hear it, right? So I'm here to talk about a lot of that, and that really is what the Creativity Collective is about on my channel here. So it's about all of this time and energy, maybe 6 months, maybe a year. For me, it's like when I first started building my first body of work, well, I was doing jewelry, I was doing years worth of studies when I first came out with my work back in the 90s, and then I started selling to commercial stores like Banana Republic and Peruvian Connection, Henry Bendel, places like that. But it took a lot of years putting in that foundation. And the years go by quickly. And if you can have fun doing it, it's not hard. It doesn't mean you're not going to get any sales. But for growth, it just happens slowly but surely. And then one day, boom, it takes off. Boom. And people say, oh my gosh, she's an overnight success. And anyone who has been thought of as an overnight success, they know all the years and hard work that went into it behind the scenes. So all of this energy, all of this work that you're putting into it will be here for you. You just keep going, which is factor number one. Factor number two is things take time, and you're just putting in this energy work of building your line, building your work, getting it. And there's something that happens. You're going to feel it in your work when you're ready. You're going to feel it in your business or in your work. You're going to feel it that, oh my gosh, suddenly you're in this place where the universe puts you out there, and your work shows up and shines. But it takes this time, it's this energy work of manifesting, is what I like to call it. And I like to call this in just some of the teachings that I do. It's like manifesting. It's planting your seeds, putting all this energy into it, putting the energy of this growth and what direction you want to go. And then when the universe sees, or your God, sees that you are here to stay, it's going to explode for you and grow someday, So that's number 2, is that you're planting your roots, you're planting your seeds. They're all going in, you're coming in, you're watering it every day, you're nourishing it, it's getting sunshine, you're giving it love, and then it grows. So that's factor 1, keep going in the same direction. 2, you're plant roots and keep going, Number 3, which is, oh my gosh, this is probably one of the most important factors that I've ever talked about, and that is to do this work for you and only you. And if you can do the work for you, which sometimes is a lot of undoing. We all have these views in our head of, oh my gosh, my dad thought artists were losers and never made money, or you think you can't make money with it, or your mom wants you to do a different job, or this, you feel like you'd be successful if you did runway, blah blah blah, all these different factors. If you can find what really is your passion and what really is your love in your art form, you will find success, and I promise you that. So it's like, do things for you. When you do things for other people, it's not as strong, it's not as powerful. When you do things for yourself and really find that love in your work, you're like a magnet, and it's the only way to really get your work out there and to have your work authentically you. And that's a really important factor, So it's like, do it for you. Subconsciously, we hold these ideas of what other people want from us. It's like, sometimes I go along and, as a jeweler, and also for a commercial jeweler that I have been at different times, I'll have stores that come in, and, I would have companies that came in, or galleries, and they're like, can you build it with these colors? I need pinks and reds this year. I need, this. Or they give you their swatches and you're supposed to build for them. It's really interesting as an artist. I used to do American Craft Council. I'd be like, what? Get out of here. I'm building from my heart, So, but, I certainly have gotten off track when maybe you're impressed with somebody else's work. Maybe you're getting burnt out from your own work, And then it's easy to kind of derail. And it's really important, I've realized, to get back into this creative state so you can move forward with your coming from your heart with your work. In fact, one of the exercises I do show on this channel too, just a couple things I do. Because I'm a support system for artists on here, let me know if you guys are up for it. I actually have a membership that I just charge $25 a month for, that is all about energy and a support system for artists. But I haven't put it on the outside of my YouTube channel yet, because I really am getting there, you know what I mean? Like, to put this energy work out there. But let me know if you guys are interested in, just some of these simple morning techniques where you wake up in the morning, and before there's a state, before you open your eyes, when you're coming from your dreams up, and to wake up, put your hand on your heart and just feel yourself. It's checking in with yourself. It's aligning with yourself. It's feeling this love, and it's really feeling who you are and what you're aligned with and what your work needs to be that day, and then you stick with it. You follow that. And there's many different energy works that are 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just to check in before you go out and stand in front of your studio, your bench or your art table, just to get clear. Different ways I clear many times through the day, just to make sure that I'm not picking up other people's energy, that I'm in my own authenticity, but to do things for myself. And that's number 3. Number 4, which is a little bit of the subject that I talked about, they all kind of blended together. But number 4 is to lead with love. Lead your artwork, lead your brand with love. It really, really is important. Yes, there's ways, I used to, as an artist, to lead with love. And I'm not saying your stuff has to be all about great things. Lead with love from your heart. Look, I did a body of work that was super popular, crazy popular. I'm from the same south side of Chicago, so it really was a line of jewelry that was very weapon-like. If you guys look back at, in my book, if you look back at Industrial Chic, or I wrote a book called Making Connections, which is all cold joins and riveting. I walked around the world and I looked at how architecture was done, and I brought it on a small scale into the jewelry world. But it's just, for me, it's like, yeah, it was about protection and weaponry and that type of stuff. I did it from my heart. I built it from my heart. So even though it was a raw line, I'm not saying it has to be all about woo, God and beautiful and this and that, it's just leading from your heart to what your real work is, leading from you. One of my favorite projects now that I do is I love working with rough stones, and I mix them with gems to kind of have a balance. So I'm not saying all gems and beautiful, do your real love of what you want to do. Sometimes I come in and I'm like, if you guys know who I am as a jeweler or seen some of my work, I have different in the studios in here where I show some of my original work, and it's all based on talisman, but do what I love. When I went into following my heart and doing what I love, some of my pieces back in the day were so big and so long, they were costumes. Now, in my head, my training was like, I'm a jeweler. Why am I doing such big pieces? No one's gonna wear these pieces. My passion to build these pieces, and it came from love, was huge. So you know what I built them because I followed my heart. And you know what? I ended up getting my work recognized in that way. So it wasn't a strike against me. It was a strike. I followed my heart. My work went into galleries. They were wall pieces, they're costuming pieces, they're pieces for dance, they're pieces for me that were built from my experiences up in these rough, raw, like before the internet, way up in the mountains in different countries all over the world, and just experiences by the fireside and bringing out like the real, people couldn't help but to be who they were when you didn't have all this influence from around the world, right? So get back to that. Get back to that simplistic state of building whatever in the hell you want to build, right? I love it. When I have a workshop here, and I have one coming up in a couple days, I will really have people leave their process of what's going to sell, what do other people want. And this has to do, all with also the third one, do it for you. What do people want? What are people looking for? What will I be able to sell at my jewelry sale? Christmas is coming. I need to make money. What can I build for other people? Yeah, you can do that temporarily. But when you come back into the state of leading with your love, doing it for yourself, you're going to find that that's your real work. And that's the only work that you're really going to take off with and get popular. And someday people will recognize that as your own work, building it from who you are. So that's leading with love. That was number 4. People want to feel good, like your work is you. So number 5 is the authenticity factor. Ooh, I love this subject. As an artist, you absolutely must build authentically from your heart. And why is this? It's like when you're building authentically, here's the rules. I have a whole course in this too. Now look, I'm writing all of this. Who knows who will be attracted to this and who won't be attracted to this. This is what I want to do, and this is what I'm leading from my heart. So as I'm telling you what I'm doing, I'm feeling passion, I'm feeling love for these courses, my work and all of this, and they grow. They take off and they grow. For many years, there was no one really here to attend my workshops, but I'm finding them growing because I'm staying with it and moving forward, and I'm finding my own people. So staying in your authenticity, really building your true self, really getting, shedding ideas of what other people want to see in you. They want to see you calm and wealthy and living in a rich home that maybe is not for you, or just, for me, that was just different factors that I had. When I was 19, it's like I had this ideal life of that I was going to live be wealthy and live this beautiful life and have a calm life and, travel with my husband and all this. And I literally came right up to the edge of an opportunity like that. And I realized that I didn't match this opportunity. I didn't even understand it. A lot of my works, I'm looking back at some of the thinking that I did, but I didn't even understand. Many years ago, when I was 19 years old, I knew I wanted to explore and to travel, and I was so young. I wanted to still finish my college degree and get out into the world, so it didn't match. My goals and my manifestations that I was putting out there in the world, I went right up to the edge of what I had manifested, and I realized this isn't me. This isn't what I wanted. I wanted to live on the edge. I wanted to explore. I wanted to go to different countries. I wanted to find a passion, a love. And I did, and I followed it. I'm so proud of myself. Listen, there's been times in my life that I was like, what did I do? I could have been so comfortable for the rest of my life, right? I probably wouldn't have been the artist that I am now. I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have now. I wouldn't have worked as hard. My life would have been more relaxed and calm. So ask yourself if this is your authentic life that you're living now, and if there isn't, you don't have to do anything extreme. Like for me, what I did is I left the whole situation, went to California before the internet, before cell phones, and just kind of undid. I spent 7 years in California and Oregon, just kind of allowing myself to be not this person up on a pedestal, I allowed myself to get into my real authentic self, which sometimes is hard to look at, to think I'm not anybody as I thought I was, and to rebuild my life from there. So when my work, I was talking earlier about, I was doing wholesale events, but when my work really took off, I ended up having my kids. I left the commercial fashion world of sterling silver and doing talisman in that way from my studies that I studied from around the world. And I took time and I went in and I was like, I studied talisman from all over the world. And I said to myself, I am an American, so what would my talisman be? What would my talisman be? And I have a whole body of work that I did by just walking the beach. I ended up moving back to Chicago, moved right on Lake Erie here in Cleveland, and I would walk the beaches and I would just pick things up from where I lived. And I just built them into objects. I grew up listening to 45 records. So for me, it's like when they became obsolete, I was cutting up 45s, making them into, putting silver on them, creating jewelry out of them. Sure, there was a lot of people like, what the hell is that? That's not jewelry, right? I had a lot of people like that in my ear, but guess where it got me? This original talisman jewelry that I did a whole poker game about. Because I grew up playing poker. My dad was an accountant and I learned my math from playing poker. He was a real interesting accountant, So I did a whole piece, 52 playing cards, done where you could take it apart and play a game of cards. And there was a $100 bill on there, cigarette butts. The $100 bill was there, and I was like, oh my God, I'm broke. Can I really do a $100 bill? And I was like, heck yeah, you're doing a real $100 bill. Because if you were stuck, if you're in a card game and you're stuck and you're losing, you can take the $100 bill, you can take the charmer part by snipping it, tape it back together, and you're back in the game. So, it's like all these little energy things of feeling good about what you're doing. Yes, I lost $100, but I gained a couple $1,000s when I sold the piece. So, really taking this time. And when I did take this time, the places that this work went to was the Smithsonian. It went to a tour to the New York Art Institute, went to the Renwick Museum. It was a whole talisman exhibit that this piece toured. And it was so amazing to see this work that everyone told me, that's not jewelry. Nobody's gonna buy that stuff. They're big, I went to the American Craft Council. I did the Smithsonian show and sold. I did wholesale shows to galleries. It really started my career and it bloomed. It took off from there in the 90s, early 2000s, and bloomed. So then I started teaching and educating. So it's like, because I followed my heart, I had a whole education and made, in front. Once you start the ball rolling, once you get your feel with these 5 factors that you need to be as an artist. Once you get the ball rolling and you have all of these included in your work and who you are, and you're standing behind your work and you feel good about it, then your success starts to grow. And with it, money is energy. Money is just part of it. Recognition is just part of it. You have to be ready for that when your work grows, It's like for me, man, I took a tumble. When my work first started growing, I had people fighting over publishing, rights to it, exhibiting, It was really scary for me. People like crying if they couldn't get into my workshops. And it was really scary, and I realized I needed to get into more strength and more grounding into this new person, or not new person, this person I've been working all along, and have to grow into. So, that's another factor that I can talk about another time. But, just really getting your boundaries down, becoming strong in who you are so you can face whatever successes and whatever comes your way once you lean into all these different elements. You will be bound for success no matter how old or young you are, no matter what your race, no matter what age you're starting at, no matter anything. I've had students come into my workshop who, were artists or just beginning, and they have all the confidence and all of this invisible down where they know they're going to find a track that's going to suit them, and they just have to find this track and build it. And they found jewelry, and I've mentored people through this, and their work has been in Hollywood all over. So it's really fun to see everyone grow once you have all these factors down. So like I said, I'm here as a support system, my channel, Creativity Collective for Visionaries, which is us artists here. It's really we just think of it as yay, having fun doing your work, but there's so much more to it to be successful and strong. So that's what I want to see today. Please leave a comment if you can. Like, subscribe. I'd love that. I'd love to hear a comment. If you guys want to hear any other information from me, you can pop into my link tree and just kind of look around. I have different things going on. I have a membership that's very inexpensive as a support system to this group here. So you might want to check that out. But anyway, Susan Lenart, thank you for joining me, and I have a lot more to come.